Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. As usual, my name is Bloodstained Wings, and today we have the awaited Part 2. Dun 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 dun. I had a lot of fun doing this, and so without further delay, let us jump right into it. Alright, the long-awaited Part 2. Now, we did do this in Part 1 and Part 2 segments for multiple reasons, in fact. The first one being that the painting had to dry. So please make sure, if you are going to be following along with this tutorial, that the painting that is below the tape here is fully dried. And that can take some time. So please be patient with it and let it dry fully before you start doing the next round here. You want to make sure that it is fully dry. And now you're going to cover your whole canvas in a mixture of the liquid clear, or the goop in my case. I'm using goop, and white. Now if you have the Bob Ross liquid white, you can use that instead. Totally fine. I choose to use clear, and then I can use any color I want at any point in time. There we go, that's better. So, nice thin even coat of the white over the whole thing. Now this is going to be the winter version, and I do have little outlines to, like, in pencil, just to show me like where things are, like the cabin and the mountains and the water line, so that at least the water line and the cabin and the mountains all match up. And that's important. You want to make sure that everything matches in that kind of a way. So now, keeping in mind that the last one had a little bit of pink in the sky, I'm going to mix a little bit of pink with, well, I'm going to mix a little bit of the alizarin crimson with some white. And I'm going to do like a nice little pinky sky. But it's going to go to the phthalo blue fairly quickly. So, you know, don't be surprised by that. So I'm just going to have a little bit of that through here, and then just a smidge in this water area. Just to give us this little tiny bit of pink in the sky and also in the water. And I think that's going to look really nice. Just to give like a soft, warm glow to the winter sky that we're about to have, which is going to be dominatingly winter and cold. But, you know, let's try to keep it a little warm, right? I like warm winter scenes. I find them to be really soothing. I don't know. I just do. How's that for an answer? All right, being very delicate with our blue, just grabbing like a super smidge, and I did add a little bit more of the white onto my brush here. Now there is white on the canvas, so this should theoretically not be super, super dark blue. So we're just gonna very lightly, we're gonna start in the corners, and then we're just gonna do little crisscross strokes to kind of bring that together, and it should get lighter as we continue to, you know, paint on the canvas here. There we go. You may have heard a clinking noise in the background. That is my cat eating. He likes to do that. He likes to eat. You guys let me know if you are cat people, or if you are dog people, or if you are the elusive both. Very elusive. Alright, bringing that down through these colors here. Very, very delicate, very light, very soft. And then we're just going to bring that blue through here. that this whole thing has like a kind of blue hue to it on the bottom here. Very soft, very subtle, not a lot of color going on, but it's there, and that's the important part. So that when we add the snow, there's this like contrast of a thing that existed. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so let's start with painting the mountain, shall we? No, let's paint some clouds. Yes, I agree. You're welcome. Let me see here. Let me see what kind of clouds that I want. Let's make some nice fluffy clouds. Let's make yeah, one. Let's make like a really big one. Oh yes. Oh, I'm proud of that. That was a good decision. Let's do that. One really big cloud over here, I think. We're just gonna blend out the bottom in tiny little circles, as we do for all of our clouds. And then you just gently fluff the tops. Just gently fluff those tops. There we go, right off the page there. All right, let's do another one. Over here. There we go. And once again, we're just gonna very gently blend out the bottom so that it kind of becomes one with our sky color that we have going on. And then you just fluff the tops really delicately. And again, tiny circular movements. You want to make sure you're keeping circular in this kind of painting. I think I have lost entirely where our mountains are, which is probably a bad thing, but I think it's here, so I think we're okay. But might have to double check at some point, which is fine. We can do that. I just want to make sure that they do actually line up, because I think that's going to look the best. There we go. Just fluff, and then just fluff. So purposely, when I was doing this, I kept one piece that was above the bottom piece so I could check. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and re-put in the little pencil line so that I know that that is there, and that is where that is going. And I quite possibly should have done that with multiple pieces of tape. It's okay. Let's go ahead and check this one over here. Even though it's underneath, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to check. We're gonna do it. Woo! Alright, this is going up like that. Alright. Worth it. So this is correct, I think. I think this is the other mountain underneath. So, we're okay, I think, to keep going. I can still see my cabin, and that's gonna be really important as well, so. Now, we need a dark purpley color for our mountain. So we're gonna need about twice as much of the alizarin crimson as Prussian blue. And by Prussian blue, I mean phthalo blue. This is phthalo blue. And I immediately put way too much blue in. So we're just gonna go ahead and grab some more of the red. And you can make a healthy amount of this because we're gonna be using this for a lot of the painting. I wanna have like purple mountains, and I want to have purple trees, and I want to have purple, like the cabin is going to be purple, so all of the darkness in this painting is basically going to be purple. So it's okay to make like a fair amount of this. So I'm just going to kind of double what I've got. Make a big mound. There we go. Okay. I'm just gonna pull it really flat and get a nice little roll of paint. There's that roll of paint right there. Oh, you can really see it. There you go. So we're gonna lay in the dark color for our mountain. I think that it lays about there. And if it's not perfect, if it's not 100% lining up, I think it'll be okay because mountains are weirdly shaped anyways. So it'll probably be okay. You can just say like, oh, something weird happened here, you know? and that'll be fine. There, I think that looks correct. And then I think, oh, this goes up. Okay. To here. There's just a little extra down there. There we go. So there, we have our little mountain. All right, and now we're gonna pull it out using one of our clean brushes. It's cleanish, it's clean enough, and that's fine. And I'm just gonna pull this out. Now this is very, very dark, so just keep that in mind. This is very dark, but we're going to be pulling out all of the excess and just kind of shaping our mountain a little bit over here. We can have mountainy shape. There we go. There we go. Nice purpley mountainy shape. Beautiful. And this goes like that. Okay, so now we've got that. I'm going to take a little section of our dark purple and I'm going to put it to the side, and that's going to be our shadow color. But for the light color, I want to have a kind of more pinky hue to it. So I just mixed it in a little bit with the pinky hue. And then I'm just very delicately using that same roll of paint. The whole idea is you're using that roll of paint to do everything. There we go. And this side is basically all in highlight, while the other side is basically all in shadow. And that's fine. There we go. Except for this part here, but that's okay. We'll highlight that in a moment. I'm gonna grab a little bit of white and that dark pile that I made off to the side. And so this is slightly darker, but still very purpley. There we go. Oh gosh, that's okay. That's fine. There we go. And then okay, that's on the other side. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, great. And now I can use that same lighter color and highlight this part so it looks like that's in front of the other one. Grab a little bit more white, have some variations in there. That's much better. There we go. Okay, now we have a delicate mountain. Beautifully done. And I'm very proud of that, so that's good. Now we need some pine trees and some, oh wait, we can't move on that quickly. We need to very delicately mistify the bottom. Following the angles of the mountain. This is important. You have to follow the angles of the mountain. So these ones go this way. I just want to make sure you're following those angles so that everything is nice and angly. Because mountains are really all about angles. You might not know this, but mountains are all about angles. And you want to make sure you're keeping those angles correct. Much like how triangles are all about angles. Angles, not angels. Those are different things. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna lift very, very gently. Very gently. Ooh, that was a little too aggressive. Too aggressive. I don't know why I cared. That was on the tape. That's fine. Little gentle. Little gentles. There we go. Okay. That was so subtle, you probably saw no difference. And that's okay. So now we're gonna go into a little bit of a darker than this kind of color. Not too much darker because we want to have something that's like completely black, not black, but like completely dark in front of that. So we want to have this still being pretty dark, but not all the way dark. And we're just gonna try to add a row of trees using our fan brush. I need a little bit more paint. There we go. And we're just using our fan brush the same way we did in the last one, where we are just kind of pushing it into the canvas with a slight downward motion. There we go. Just to give it a little bit of a tree kind of feel. But mostly you're not really pulling. There's not a lot of pulling. It's mostly just dabbing. There we go. All right. Okay. And now, taking our brush that we mixed everything else with, I'm just going to mist out the bottoms here. Actually, I think I'm going to pull these down. Now that I've done it, I think I'm going to pull these down. So I think this is where our waterline is, if everything is correct. I may want to double check that, but dabbing a little bit and then pulling straight down, just because they're very far away, so we don't want to have too much definition in those reflections, but that's going to be land over there probably, I think. All right, let's double check, make sure that is where our waterline is. Yes, it is perfectly exactly where we want that to be. Oh my God, I'm a genius. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm very proud of myself for having that being exactly where it's supposed to be. So we're gonna grab a little bit of white and we're gonna mix it in with the goop so we have a nice thin goop. And it's okay if there's a little bit of the other colors, like the purples and stuff in there, that's fine. And we're just gonna come in, we're gonna go from over here, we're just gonna add a nice little waterline. And you can really, really bend the knife here. And that is okay. We want to bend the knife a lot here. There we go. Ooh, apparently I'm going to pull off this tape. This tape over here does not want to stay down. It just really wants to be a part of our lives. There we go. So now we have a nice little water line. And then we have the nice little reflection in the lake. Looking super good. Now we get to do the fun bits of the really, really big dark trees going on over here. And they're going to be big and dark. So please make sure you get your fan brush and you get it nicely covered in all that dark paint. Yes. And then come up here and put in some trees, because these are all like other trees that are beneath the other trees, so it's okay. Here we go. Side by side. I love purple trees. Can I just say that? I love the idea of purple trees. I think that purple trees are cool and that purple is a great tree color. Like, it's a great tree color. I don't care how unrealistic a purple tree is. I think it's a great tree color. And we just need to have more purple tree paintings in which there are trees that are purple. There we go. And I think there was one on this side, and if not, I'm gonna do it because I'm having fun with a purple tree. Oh, I need it to be a little bit thinner. So this one needs to be a little bit thinner in order to go over top of this. Just keep that in mind if you're gonna do this as well. There we go. See, it has a little bit of trouble going over top of that. That's okay. Now it just looks like it's got snow on it, which is fine. There we go. Okay. So we got some trees. Is it time for the cabin? Is it time for cabin? That's the question. I think so. I think it's time for cabin. So let's go ahead and get our purple and get our knife, and we're shaping this cabin. So this goes out like that, except that it goes out the entire way, please. Okay. There's our little thing. And then this is the straight down part. Hiya! We're just gonna have a little bit of a hard time filling in that gap because of the texture on the other side, but that's okay. So there's that. Now, we're gonna do a little bit of white, and we're just gonna give it a little bit of texture over here. Actually, we should do that later. Let's do this texture first, which is the front part of the house. There you go, front part of the house. All right. And now, we need some pure white. We need some unholy, ungodly white. And we're just gonna try to pull it, hopefully, in one smooth move to make a nice roof. Very gently, in the same way we do the mountains. So we're just gonna just tab and then, yes, roof, I did it. Excellent. And now we can just do the little stabby stabbies to make where the rest of the house is all house-like and things, you know, with the logs. That's what I'm trying to say. Logs. Words are hard sometimes. Okay, grabbing some of the white, we're gonna make some snow. We're gonna do a cabinectomy over here by just covering it in snow, just like that. I find, personally, one of the easiest ways to make snow happen is with a palette knife. Now, not everyone agrees with me on that. A lot of people think that that is, in fact, the hardest way to have snow. But I think it's the best. I think that snow in like a pile looks more like it does with a palette knife than it does not using a palette knife. Now, that's my personal opinion, and that's how I paint it, but I do find that snow kind of has a tendency to lay in this, I don't know, really flat kind of way that a palette knife really gets. There we go. There we go. All right, and there are some bushes here as well, but first we're gonna lay down the snow. And we're gonna make sure this tape is down. There we go. Snow. There we go. Lots of snow. A little bit of purple in that snow over there. There we go. Just to give it a little bit more dimension and color and interest. There we go. All right, now we can do the bushes. This one is gonna be the highlight and this will be the low light, I guess. Sure. Let's go right into the very, very dark color that we mixed earlier. And we're just gonna add a little bush or two to be like, hey, I'm a bush. I need to be like a little bit thin, but like not a lot thin, because it's gotta stick, but it's also gotta like exist. It's gotta exist. Da, da. Okay. I think that's all we need, but I'll put one here anyways. There we go. All right, and then these bushes are going to be kissed with frost, I think. So I'm going to grab, so this is mixed in with the titanium white in the goop, and I'm pulling down in one straight direction and then flipping the brush over and then lightly kissing the tops of these bushes here to give them just a little bit of frost. Ta-da! But I like keeping the trees really dark. I think that that looks really good. And that, I think, with a little bit of definition in the, we're just gonna have like, no, you know what, because this is frozen. This is frozen. That's right. That's frozen because it's a lake. Good thing I stopped myself. All right, so now I get to do the big reveal of all of the colors and all of the things that happened. And 2 weeks to get to this point. I'm really excited to see how it turned out because I think this is going to be a really fun painting. This tree escaped over here, but that's fine. All right. And I guess we'll do the two top ones. Wow. And you can see the different skies now. And even though this part looks pretty similar, this part here looks really different, which I'm really excited by. Wow. Apparently there was a tree there that I didn't paint. So what I'm going to do, just because this needs to have existence, I'm just going to add in that tree so that it exists. There it is. I need more paint. I ran out of paint, which is why I stopped painting the trees, but you know, we're just gonna go ahead and make some more, and that's fine. See, this is the thing about paintings. You can just go ahead and change things, which is great. I love that about it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix. Oh, I need a smidge more of the blue. Watch me grab too much. Classic me, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try to match that color. Yeah, that looks pretty dang close. It's very dark anyways, so that's the idea. So we'll just come back in here. There we go. Give this guy a little existence. Yeah. So you can see that tree. We may have to do that in other locations, but for now, we're doing okay. You can see how like that tree turns into the summertime, which is nice. Oh, I like that one. That one turned out really good. Because then you can see there's two trees there. And one of them is like green and then one of them is purple and they kind of like mesh into each other. Oh, that looks really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Good. Let's do the ones over here to make sure that I like them over there. And if anything needs to be touched up, we can touch that up. Yep. Oh yeah, we need to have a tree behind the cabin there. Great, I didn't know that. That's okay. Because just like that one, we're just gonna go ahead and plop it right in. Just like that. There we go. Tree in place. Perfectly in place. Oh, I'm really liking this. This looks really good. Oh. There we go. Oh, the land didn't match up exactly over here. It did over here, which is good, but it didn't over here, which is bad. So we're just gonna try to fix it a little bit with a little bit of snow, which is fine. We can do that. We just put the snow up here. With our palette knife. Just sneak it right in there, just like that. Our little bush is gone, but that's okay. We can put in a different bush, because we still have paint to be able to do that. So we'll just grab some of this. Plop it in like that. Grab our highlight. There we go. I'm just going to give it little sticks and twigs that it exists on. Same with this guy. You exist on something. There we go. Looking good. I'm really proud of this. I think that this turned out really interesting and different. If you guys would like to see maybe another scene, maybe another example of this, please let me know. I think that this turned out really crazy and I'm really enjoying how crazy it is. Even though nothing, like some of it doesn't match up perfectly, but some of it really does. Like this part here looks nearly perfect, which is pretty cool. and I'm really proud of that. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining me today while we did part 2 of this painting. I had a lot of fun with it. If you guys enjoyed this, it will be available for sale on my Etsy store. And as always, I would like to give a big, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Their names are scrolling by, and I really appreciate every single one of them for helping me through all of this. It's been amazing. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week. Remember that you are loved and you deserve to be loved. Mwah!